There are smells from your grandmother's kitchen that never really leave. Something warm on the stove, a spice in the air you could not name but always recognized. Those old kitchens held more wisdom than we ever gave them credit for. The foods made in them were doing things science is only now beginning to explain. If you enjoy uncovering those discoveries, hit subscribe. What comes next might genuinely change how you see food. Royal jelly. Let's start with something most people walk right past in a health food store without a second thought. Royal jelly has been collected and eaten for thousands of years, long before anyone knew what a stem cell was. It is the thick, creamy substance that worker bees produce exclusively to feed their queen. And the queen, fed on nothing but this food alone, lives up to 40 times longer than the worker bees around her. That is not just a fascinating piece of nature trivia. That is biology telling us something worth paying attention to. Scientists began studying royal jelly seriously and found it contains proteins that directly influence how stem cells behave. Research discovered that through its major protein component, royal jelly can help stem cells maintain the ability to become any type of cell in the body. That ability is called pluripotency. Keeping it alive matters enormously as we age, because it is exactly what allows your body to replace damaged tissue with healthy, functioning new cells. Then came a human clinical trial. Healthy subjects received protease-treated royal jelly at 1,200 milligrams per day, or a placebo for 4 weeks. At the end of those 4 weeks, changes in circulating stem cell populations were significantly higher in the royal jelly group than in the placebo group. These are the stem cells your body uses to maintain your immune system and repair tissue throughout your life. Royal jelly is also rich in a fatty acid found nowhere else in nature. It plays a direct role in the genetic pathways connected to cell repair, antioxidant activity, and cellular stress resistance. You can find raw royal jelly in health food stores. Always choose the fresh refrigerated form over dried capsule versions, turmeric, and that is just the beginning. Because sitting in spice racks all over the world is a golden root that has been used in traditional medicine for over 4,000 years. Turmeric. Most people know it as the spice that gives curry its deep yellow color, but its active compound curcumin does something very specific at the cellular level that researchers are still working to fully understand. Your DNA takes damage every single day. Sunlight, pollution, and the normal processes of your own metabolism all cause small breaks and errors in your DNA strands. Your cells have repair systems designed to fix that damage quickly. Curcumin helps those repair systems work more effectively by supporting the proteins that physically patch the broken sections. Think of it like giving your repair crew better materials and sharper tools, but turmeric does something else too. A study published in Stem Cell Research and Therapy showed that aromatic turmerone, another compound found in turmeric, increased the growth of neural stem cells by up to 80% in laboratory settings. Neural stem cells are the ones that generate new neurons in your brain. Your brain's ability to renew itself depends heavily on those cells staying active across your lifetime. Here is the practical detail most people miss entirely. Curcumin on its own is poorly absorbed by the body, but pair it with black pepper, and absorption increases by a staggering 2,000%. The compound in black pepper responsible for this is called piperine. A pinch of black pepper in your turmeric tea or golden milk completely changes how much benefit your body actually receives. 1 teaspoon of turmeric and a small pinch of black pepper every day is one of the simplest habits you can build for your cellular health. Black seed. Few foods carry a history quite like this one. Black seed, also called Nigella sativa or black cumin, was found inside the tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun. Ancient Islamic texts described it as a remedy for everything except death itself. And across the Middle East, North Africa, and Asia, traditional healers have used it consistently for over 3,000 years. What makes black seed extraordinary from a modern science perspective is a compound called thymoquinone. Thymoquinone works in a very specific way. It reaches into the machinery of abnormal cells and disrupts the chemical switches that allow those cells to keep multiplying unchecked. At the same time, it protects healthy cells from the oxidative damage that breaks DNA strands in the first place. Thymoquinone does this partly by preserving the activity of your body's own protective enzymes, including glutathione peroxidase and superoxide dismutase. These are your first line of defense against DNA damage. As we age, our natural production of them gradually declines. Black seed helps compensate for that decline by keeping those enzyme levels higher than they would otherwise be. It also reduces chronic background inflammation. This matters more than most people realize. Chronic low-level inflammation is one of the primary things that suppresses stem cell activity over time. When you bring that inflammation down, you give your body's own repair systems a much better environment to operate in. Black seed oil is widely available in health food stores. A teaspoon a day, taken straight or stirred into honey, mirrors exactly how traditional cultures have used it for centuries. Reishi mushroom. Now this next one might actually surprise you. For over 2,000 years, traditional Chinese medicine described one particular mushroom as the herb of immortality. Its Chinese name, Lingji, translates to something close to divine power and spiritual potency. That is a bold claim, but modern scientists decided to test whether the ancient reputation had any grounding in real biology. Researchers studying reishi mushroom extract looked specifically at how it affected DNA damage and the ability of human cells to repair themselves after oxidative stress. The results showed measurable improvements in repair capacity. The extracts displayed very low DNA damaging potential themselves, while actively supporting the body's own repair mechanisms. That is an important distinction. Many substances that fight oxidative damage can also create a different kind of stress in the body. Reishi appears to do neither. It protects without creating new problems. The stem cell connection is equally compelling. Reishi extract has been shown to support the activity of hematopoietic stem cells. These are the stem cells that produce your entire blood and immune system. They generate your red blood cells, your platelets, and the immune cells that patrol your body every single hour of every day. Keeping them active and responsive as you age is one of the most important things you can do for your long-term health and resilience. Because the raw mushroom is extremely tough and woody, most people use reishi in brewed tea, powder, or extract form. It has a slightly bitter, earthy flavor. Adding it to hot water with a small amount of honey makes it easy to drink daily and gives your body a consistent, reliable dose of one of the most studied medicinal mushrooms on the planet, garlic. But perhaps the most familiar name on this list has the most surprising depth behind it: garlic. Humans have been eating garlic as medicine for at least 5,000 years. The ancient Egyptians fed it to the workers building the pyramids, believing it gave them endurance and protected them from illness. Ancient Greek athletes ate it before competing. Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, described it as one of his most trusted tools. Modern science has spent decades piecing together exactly why those ancient healers were right. The answer centers on a compound called allicin, which forms the moment you crush or chop a fresh garlic clove. Allicin triggers a cascade of protective effects inside your cells. It reduces chronic inflammation at the cellular level. It activates antioxidant enzymes that neutralize the free radicals breaking your DNA. And it creates an internal environment where dormant stem cells have a much better chance of reactivating and doing their repair work. There is one practical detail that completely changes how much benefit you get from garlic. When you crush it, let it rest for 10 full minutes before applying any heat. That waiting time allows allicin to fully form inside the crushed tissue. If you put it straight into a hot pan, most of the active compound never develops and the benefit is dramatically reduced. 10 minutes of patience between crushing and cooking is one of the smallest habits with one of the largest payoffs. Raw. Garlic stirred into food after cooking or chopped finely into salad dressings preserves even more of its active compounds. Your breath may suffer. Your cells will thank you. Spirulina. And then there is a food that may be the oldest on this entire list. Spirulina is a blue-green algae that humans have been harvesting and eating since before recorded history. The Aztecs collected it from Lake Texcoco in the 1400s. Ancient communities in Chad, Africa, harvested it from local lakes for centuries before European contact. NASA later identified it as one of the most efficient foods possible for long-duration space travel because of how much nutrition it delivers per gram of weight. What spirulina does at the cellular level comes down to its effect on oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the slow, cumulative process that erodes your DNA strand by strand over decades. Research shows that spirulina activates the body's own cellular antioxidant enzymes, scavenges free radicals directly, and significantly increases the activity of two of the body's most powerful protective enzymes. As we age, natural production of these enzymes declines. Spirulina helps compensate for that loss. On the immune side, spirulina has been shown to promote the activity of natural killer cells. These are the frontline immune cells that identify and eliminate abnormal cells before they can become a serious problem. You want those cells working at full capacity every single day, and consistent spirulina use appears to help keep them active. A teaspoon of spirulina powder stirred into a smoothie, juice, or plain water is all it takes to get a meaningful daily dose. The color is a bold, dramatic blue-green. The taste is mild and earthy. It blends easily and is one of the most cost-effective cellular health foods you can add to a daily routine. Kiwi fruit. Not far behind in the research is a fruit most people enjoy but few would ever describe as medicinal. Kiwi. It does not carry the ancient mystique of black seed or reishi, but what the science shows about what it does to your DNA is genuinely hard to argue with. A study from the University of Oslo recruited healthy adults and had them eat 1, 2, or 3 kiwis every day for 3 weeks. Researchers then measured DNA damage in each participant's cells using a method that shows broken DNA strands directly under a microscope. The results were striking. People eating just 1 kiwi a day showed 60% less DNA damage compared to where they started. Those eating 3 kiwis daily showed something even more interesting. Not only was new damage being prevented, but existing damage was actively being repaired. Their cells showed a 60% improvement in DNA repair capacity. The mechanism behind this result comes from the concentrated vitamin C in kiwi fruit, which neutralizes the free radicals that cause DNA strand breaks, while also supporting the repair enzymes that physically fix the damage. But kiwi is not simply a vitamin C delivery vehicle. It contains polyphenols, flavonoids, and carotenoids that work together in ways a supplement cannot fully replicate. The whole food is more powerful than any isolated extract of it. 1 or 2 kiwis a day fits easily into a morning routine. You can slice them in half and scoop out the flesh, blend them into a smoothie, or eat them whole if you buy organic and wash the skin well. The skin carries additional fiber and polyphenols that the flesh alone does not provide. Fermented foods. Here is a category rather than a single food, and it may be the most underestimated one on this list. Fermented foods. Kimchi, raw sauerkraut, kefir, miso, tempeh, traditional plain yogurt with live cultures. Almost every human civilization throughout history has fermented food in some form. Before refrigeration existed, fermentation was a matter of survival. But what those ancient people could not have explained scientifically is what we now understand about the gut's role in cellular repair. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive system, plays a direct role in how well your stem cells function and how effectively your body repairs damaged DNA. A healthy, diverse gut produces compounds called short-chain fatty acids. These compounds travel through your bloodstream and act directly on stem cells in the bone marrow, gut lining, and brain. They signal dormant stem cells to become active and begin repair work. They also support the immune cells that constantly scan your body for damaged or abnormal cells. The connection between gut bacteria and stem cell activity is one of the most exciting areas of research in biology right now, and the simplest way to begin supporting it is adding 1 serving of a traditionally fermented food to your day. The critical word here is live. Most fermented products sold in supermarkets have been pasteurized, meaning the bacteria have been killed off entirely. Look specifically for raw, refrigerated versions with active cultures clearly noted on the label. Those are the versions that still carry the living bacteria your gut needs to do its work effectively and consistently. Moringa. Few plants carry a history as long or as varied as the tree that grows in the foothills of the Himalayas and has been used in Ayurvedic medicine for 4,000 years. Moringa. You may have seen it recently appearing in health stores under labels suggesting it is a new discovery. It is anything but new. Every part of this tree, the leaves, seed pods, and seeds, has been eaten as food and used as medicine across Asia and Africa for millennia. What separates moringa from most plants is the sheer range and concentration of what it contains. Its leaves hold vitamins C, A, and E working together in one food. 3 of the most important antioxidants for protecting DNA integrity. When your body's DNA repair systems need raw materials to do their work, moringa delivers them in a concentrated form that few other plants can match. Research has also shown that moringa seed compounds have demonstrated not only antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, but also the ability to support the proliferation of certain types of stem cells involved in tissue repair. Mesenchymal stem cells, the ones responsible for repairing bone, cartilage, and connective tissue, appear to benefit particularly from these compounds. Keeping those cells active matters more with every passing year. Moringa powder is widely available bioavailable, and easy to use. 1 teaspoon added to a smoothie, a bowl of soup, or a warm drink gives you a broad spectrum of cellular protective compounds in a single simple daily habit. It has a mild, slightly grassy flavor that disappears easily when mixed with other ingredients. Start with a small amount and build from there. Raw cacao, and let's finish with one that will genuinely make you smile. Raw cacao. This is chocolate in its most ancient and unprocessed form. The Mayans and Aztecs were drinking it as a ceremonial beverage over 3,000 years ago. They called it the food of the gods. And while that title sounds like mythology, the science behind what makes raw cacao extraordinary is very real. The key compounds are called flavonoids, specifically catechins and epicatechins. These are among the most potent antioxidant molecules ever identified in a food source. They cross the blood-brain barrier and reach the brain directly, where they support the activity of neural stem cells. These are the cells responsible for generating new neurons throughout your life. Most people assume the brain stops producing new cells after a certain age. The evidence increasingly suggests that is not the whole story, and that flavonoids play a meaningful role in keeping that process going. These same compounds also protect the DNA of your existing cells from the oxidative damage that accumulates over decades. Research into high flavonoid dark chocolate has shown measurable increases in circulating stem cells alongside reductions in inflammatory markers. Raw cacao takes this further because it has not been roasted at high temperatures. That low heat processing means its flavonoid content is dramatically higher than in regular cocoa powder or commercial chocolate products. The distinction matters in practice. Regular cocoa powder has been heavily processed. Raw cacao powder retains most of its active compounds. A tablespoon stirred into warm oat milk, blended into a morning smoothie, or mixed into oatmeal gives you a genuine daily dose of one of the oldest cellular health foods ever studied. The Aztecs may not have had the science to explain why they called it sacred, but 3,000 years of reverence was pointing at something real.